Ladies and gentlemen, Kagekaze returning yet again. You might be getting tired of me by now, but hey, you know what? I'm having fun with it. Anyway, I'm here to waste more of my money in crafting so you don't have to. I wanted to talk a little bit about the not the real money auction house, but just the auction house in general, since I've been kind of downplaying it a bit or down talking it. I wanted to kind of say that I don't have a bad opinion of the auction house in general. It's what happened. It was kind of the shock of a lot of items flooding in at the beginning. What I really was looking at was near the beginning. A lot of people were kind of in the higher difficulties, and a lot of people were still in the lower difficulties, like myself. And I ended up seeing a lot of stuff that would have taken me in through hell level for just a few thousand gold. For the money I spent to level up my artisan here, my blacksmith, I could have basically made a full hell set and practically eliminated the need for me to go through the difficulties other than to kill bosses, because the item game would have been gone. But you know what? There are some valuable items on the auction house. It feels like it might even be stabilizing a little bit. There's some really good items out there that are selling for quite a bit of gold. Some of the low-level items are still probably a little too cheap, but you know, if the market's there, and you know what? People are finding items, really good items, just off the ground. And I think that's really going to make the difference between, spending money on the artisans or not. But again, I'm just kind of doing this. It's recording my progress. I still kind of want to find items. I may start using the auction house for the higher level items now that I've, at this point, I've gone all the way through Act 3 in Hell mode. Act 2. I've gone all the way through Act 2. I just beat the Act 2 boss. I'm getting ready to go into Act 3, so I'm halfway through, and it's getting tough. I'm honestly getting to a point where I have something of a gear gap, where I want to get better gear. It feels like I'm not surviving as much as I want to, but I'm not really finding anything better. I'm basically focusing on my strength and my vitality to keep my effective health up. And there's actually some great articles out there for barbarians regarding effective health, and I think I'll go ahead and put them in the video description here, because it just recently came out. Diablo fans reported on it, and it was honestly a really good read. So let's just go ahead and we're going to continue on, not talk too much about that, since this is the crafting corner, and I'm going to craft. And again, this is something, let's say you never want to use an artisan. Well, maybe you'd still at least like to see what they offer. So here we go. I have 74 pages of, or tomes of blacksmithing. It's going to cost me 20,000 gold to get to level 7, to get to the resplendent. Wow, look at that. He's even got banners and everything. I am like single-handedly funding an army here. Honestly, with the amount of gold I spent, it feels like it. Alright, let's see if the resplendent stuff is any good. Let's go down. Magnificent, illustrious, magnificent, Grand Master. Wickerman Mojo. Don't know too much about those since I haven't made my Witch Doctor yet. How about the Quiver? 12% with 5 properties, not bad. Resplendent Strong Sword, a 123 sword with 2 properties. It is a one-hander. I am currently using a two-handed one, so that's kind of not of a fair DPS appraisal. Let me pull out. I have 190s. Yeah, seeing the 190s and even the 300s is kind of what I'm looking at this point. Really depends on what items proc, though, because that... Hold on, one more time. I'll go back. That 300... Let's do that. Here we go. Okay, that 300, though, is honestly because it procced holy damage plus an additional 20% damage. So I'm not sure what that would be at the base level. This might be more of an indicator. These have low-level procs on them, and they're 180, 190, so that might be more around the range that I should be looking at. So let's go ahead and back here into weapons. Resplendent Strong Sword, 123 and 2 properties. Might be worth looking into, since the yellow I'm using right now only has 4, although the socket has been pretty nice. And I'll go over a bit on gems, because I can actually see where some of the values of some of the gems are going down over time. Any other resplendent weapons? No. How about armor? We've got, that's magnificent. Armbands for 150, so that's looking pretty nice. Baylor armor, 247 and 5 properties. That's nice. If you look at the item I'm currently wearing, that actually only has 5 procs, and I wanted to bring that up because this is not only for crafting, but for gear in general. Those 3 sockets only count as 1 magical proc, 1 magical effects. So in other words, it has 1 proc of strength, 1 proc of arcane resistance, 1 proc of regenerate life, and 1 proc of increased gold and health pickup. That's 4. The 5th is the socket. The reason why the socket counts as 1 is because the socket is just a chance that it will be socketed. The sockets can be anywhere between 1 and 3. But all it needs to know is that it can be socketed to count as 1 affix. So I might look into this. Think about it. Let's see, anything else. Resplendent Helm at 270. I got a decent yellow, so we'll think about that one. Socketing an item that gives me a percentage of life is honestly really nice. So not too much else there. So what else can we do here? Well, it looks like it only takes the tomes still, and I've got quite a few tomes. I've made myself a decent amount of gold from going through Hell level. So I'm going to get a Blade Splitter and Batter Smash. Manifers and Espaliers. Again, 20,005. 20,005 for a couple Warlord boots. Again. Alright, so now we know that level 8 is the end of Hell. Because we now need Tome of Secrets. So level 9 starts Inferno. Because Tome of Secrets only drop in Inferno. So I'm as far as I can go. Glorious. So level 9 and 10 are both going to be Inferno mode. So let's see what I got for my Hell mode journey. Since I am getting close, I'm almost, as you see here, I'm getting close to level. I'm at level 58, so that'll be 59. Everything here at this point is resplendent. Okay, there, it's still got stars. 129 dagger. What else? Resplendent Demon Fang, 156 gloves. Or knuckles. So yeah, it's looking like the 150 range is around where I'm expected, and the reason why this is so good is just because of the holy proc and additional damage. The fact that it double procced something for damage made it exceptionally nice. But of course, keep in mind that sometimes that's not the best thing for you. Pure DPS stats might not be what you want. I just happen to be using, that's kind of what I'm doing here, is using this weapon that's got pure DPS stats, but I'm compensating for it really with a lot of vitality at the moment. So what else? Strong sword I already looked at. The Batter Smash is a two-handed weapon, two-handed mighty weapon for the barbarian at 248. So I might be able to try and get a replacement for the mace I'm using. And a greater wand. Honestly, I'm not seeing too much that I'd want to go into just because of the price. As a matter of fact, let me just kind of go and see, since I'm using a two-handed weapon, and that's a mighty weapon. It's 23,865 gold to craft that, as well as using my tomes and my materials. Not a lot in the material costs, I'd say. I mean, it's fairly high, but you can see I've gotten quite a few as I've traveled. But 23,000 can be quite a bit. That means in order to make a profit off of this, if it has good stats, I'm going to have to sell it at a minimum of 23,865 on the auction house. Actually, it would have to be higher than that because of the 15% cut that they take. I'd probably want to sell it for 30,000, which, unless it procs some really good stats, probably won't happen, but I would really have to look. I haven't really looked at the higher level items going into Inferno mode yet. So let's see, we've got some boots at 221. So yeah, these are not bad. These are pretty good for the end of Hell mode, and these might even help me fill the gaps that I've been seeing. 740 armor shield is actually very nice. And so yeah, so most of these items actually are fairly better than what I'm currently using. So just as a commemoration, I guess let's go ahead and look at some armor. It's going to be tough because 33 strength and 122 vital are really nice. Let's see if there's anything else. A shield, maybe, or... Let's do the boots, actually. I'm getting close to level. And there we have it. More strength, more dex. I even get physical resistance with life regeneration and a chance to immobilize on hit. So the big problem there, though, is the loss of vitality. So I will have to compare the armor and vitality. It may be a wash. It may be better. It's not looking like that at first glance. but I'll have to check the documents that I found online. There's basically some really nice, a really nice read-up about vital and armor as it compares to effective health. So over here to Shin, I'm now going to level him up to the Flawless Square. He still takes the Tomes of Jewelcrafting and 10,000 gold. What I love about Shin is that he really does not take a lot of gold to level, to be honest. And that's it. He needs to be I need to be Inferno to level him up to 8, 9, and 10. So the last 3 levels are Inferno only. So perfect square topazes I probably won't see, or perfect square anything I probably won't see until Inferno. But as you can see, the training costs have only gone up 10,000. And then I just need 10 Tomes of Secrets. Alright, well, let's see what it takes to make the next level item here. So the Flawless Square Ruby. 20,000 just to make one of these gems. That's crazy. I'll make one, though. 2 tomes as well. There you go. Not bad. So, as we can see here, the jump from regular to Flawless Square is, let's see, 13 to 26, so it's going to go up 1 to 2 again, right? Yep, 14 to 28. Experience gain is 2%, and strength is a jump of 4. So just like all previous levels, and thankfully I've already found some Flawless squares, they have been dropping in Hell mode near the end here. I'm pretty sure that might be the highest I see in Hell mode, but it's nice to actually have them drop so I don't have to spend a lot of money on the jewels. But yeah, every single one of them has been increasing by a difference of 4. Now what I do want to do is I want to get a perfect square, or sorry, Flawless Square Amethyst, just to compare that, because here's what I'm noticing. This is something I wanted to bring up, is kind of how the value of the gems might change as you get further on. Early on, the life leech, or the life return on these amethysts, was not a lot. It's jumped up to 35, and going here is going up to 65. That's per hit, and that's not bad, and that's going up a good amount each increase, whereas these rubies have only been going up 1 to 2 damage, meaning that the damage increase of a ruby as you get into higher and higher gear has been less and less. These rubies that give you a plus minimum and maximum tend to increase your DPS a lot more at low levels, so what I'm planning to do is use some of these for like low characters and just I could probably one-shot some bosses or whatever with enough of these rubies socket into low-level gear, but that's really what I'm noticing, that, and I've kind of heard that too, that the value of a ruby in a weapon, for example, is going to start be devalued, and something that increases more, such as the amethyst. Since amethysts give life per hit regardless, it doesn't matter how much damage you do. That's actually pretty nice, because then that means it doesn't matter what your vitality is, you're still going to get that health back, and that increases the value of armor over vital, to be honest. Again, kind of a long read, I'll link them to know what I'm talking about there. So critical hit damage is actually going up, again, by 5%. That, I'm not sure if it's going to start getting better than the rubies or not. At this point it hasn't, but keep in mind I'm still at base level crit. As I get more and more crit, that will probably, the value of that will definitely go up, because that's just crit damage, not crit chance. So as you start to get in higher levels of crit gear, an emerald will probably be better in your weapon than a ruby, and near the end, amethysts may be better than rubies as well, just for health coming back. It really depends on your class. If you're a ranged class and you're not getting hit a lot and you're confident, then that'll really make the difference. And then of course it depends also, if you're like here, you're getting melee attackers take damage per hit. That could be useful for a Thorns build, which I've heard it can be very effective if that's what you're stacking. Okay, so that's it. We have level 7 for Covetous Shin, the Jewelcrafter, level 8 for Hadrig Amon, the Blacksmith, and that will get you through to Inferno mode. So that means pretty much I'm done until I can get to Inferno mode and get these new tomes. And just keep in mind here, as you can see, the tomes are the same for both of them. Inferno mode only drops one kind of tome. There's no longer a segregation between the two. So that means once you get into Inferno, you have to make a decision. Do you level the Blacksmith, or do you level the Jeweler? Now, the gear that you have to craft from Hadrig will probably also require Tomes of Secrets to make. Probably the same with Shin. However, I see Shin only needing maybe 1 tome per gem at this level. And Shin is a little easier to level up. It's only 20,000 to get to the next level. He's been going up kind of at a steady rate. He will probably be the cheapest. Not only that, but the only way to get the highest level gems is through your Jewelcrafter, or to possibly buy them on the auction house. Of course, the commodity auction house at this point has been down for a while, so you might have to look to Shin. So he's going to be your best source for gems, and keep in mind gems can upgrade whatever gear you get, you find, you buy. So I would honestly probably recommend looking at upgrading your Jewelcrafter before anything else when you hit Inferno mode, if, again, you're looking to craft. Alright, so that's it for this crafting corner. I gotta get to Inferno mode now, and I had a hard enough time getting through Act 2. Just hit a few stumbling blocks. Honestly, with this character, just kind of go off on a tangent here, I have been hitting some major stumbling blocks and have been going through different builds like crazy, trying to figure out what's effective, because it really depends on what I'm doing and how useful I am. Now, part of my problem, I think, is that I've been playing in a group lately with at least one other person and up to 3 others, and it's been really fun, but the monster's damage goes up by 10% per person. So my health pool has needed to go up, and my armor has needed to go up. I'm at 39k, close to 40, and on my own, I actually take a hit really well when I'm doing solo. Not only that, but I can kill fairly quickly too, but when I notice when I'm grouped up, I'll sit there and I'll be beating on something for a long time. We really have to coordinate. I've noticed that. For working in a group in Hell mode, we're having to coordinate a little more. It's not as much as I expect to need in Inferno, but it's getting us ready for it, basically. We're already talking about how we want to complement our builds, and, you know, what's the best to work with each other. And then once we get into Inferno, that's when things are really going to have to start gelling. We're going to have to really think about how we want to fight, you know, position ourselves, and essentially what our builds are going to be. Because we're going to need a combination of buffs and debuffs, as well as some decent damage, because monsters will start enraging. But it's been fun. I'm just having a hard time with the Barbarian. I'll be honest, I was never really good at Barbarians. I knew I wouldn't be very good at it, but I wanted to use him for kind of some farming purposes for other characters as well. So, alright, well that's it. I've rambled. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next Crafting Corner.